Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel and to your regularly scheduled programming. It's a beautiful day here on the homestead, although it's a very chilly one for sure. Woke up this morning, it was -6 with a -18-degree wind chill. Forecasted tonight to get to -20 with a possible -30 to -35 wind chill. Now that is extremely cold for Kansas and where I live. Definitely not the coldest that I've experienced in my life, but for my region of the country, my region of the state, that's pretty cold weather, and they're saying it's record lows. Interestingly enough, it kind of contradicts everything else we've been told over the last couple of years about science and everything. Anyways, I digress. The coldest temperatures that I've ever personally experienced was in Casper, Wyoming, just a few years ago. They were predicted to get a small snowstorm, 6 to 8 inches. Apparently that's not a big deal to them. But the combination of the temperatures and the snowfall was the record-making deal. I think it was like 20 years they had. I think we woke up, we went to bed with 6 inches of snow. Snowstorm came in. I woke up with, I think there was 18 or maybe 20 inches of fresh powder on the ground. A base temperature of -25 with very cold temperatures and the wind chills. My Under Armour jacket, as soon as I walked through the hotel door, just crisped up, and it was just crispy as could be the entire time. My vehicle had a hard time starting, but it pushed through and it got us home. Anyways, I digress. It is very cold. That is the point of this video. I'm in my basement, and right now the main part of my basement is 55 degrees. Now we've just now finished the ductwork into the entire basement to be able to push air throughout. But I was noticing the other day how cold it was now that we've got this polar vortex coming. And now on the north side of my house, this entire wall right here is not insulated. And I could definitely tell a difference from the south side to the north side of this room. Well, let's just take my handy dandy thermometer here. We're gonna shoot some temperatures over here on this wall. And I wanna show you why it's important to have good insulation, especially in your basement if you're going to finish it out prior to this kind of stuff happening. All right, so I've got my handy dandy contactless thermometer. Now this is lower end by all means. I have a higher end Ryobi laser thermometer that I've used for many years. It's pretty accurate. This one is, we have it because of COVID and all that stuff, but this thermometer, it does pretty good. It has 3 settings. It has a body temperature setting, a room temperature, and a surface temp. Down here in the basement, we've had a receiver for a thermometer for months. It's set on this corner right here, and it's read 54 to 55 degrees down here in the basement since we put it down here. I just put it on the other side of this wall to get a reading in that room. Now there's a reason for that, and that's why I'm making this whole video. So I want to come over here real fast just to kind of explain as to what we are experiencing, as we are an appropriate 8 foot below ground, below grade right now. These walls were poured 9'5", so these walls were huge. And we did this for a pretty good reason. I wanted a full height basement. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So when we do drop our ceiling down, we're still at 8 foot, or the appropriate height to not have to deal with bending over and all that stuff. So over here we have, of course, a nice 12 inch deep footing, and then there's 6 inches of concrete on top of the footing. Over here though, on this section from this line that direction and over, they poured a little bit deeper. They didn't backfill as much for some reason. I think a lot of that is because we have rough plumbing and stuff. That's like 10 to 12 inches. Pretty hefty concrete, but a pretty good job, trust me. Anyways, these walls from this here to that sill is 8'6", so 8.5 foot. From the washers there, 6 inches above ground, everything is below grade on this side. This is the south side of the house. Let's shoot some temperatures real fast. Let's see here, if we can turn it on to the surface temperature. Get as high as I can get, see if I can reach there. 49.1 degrees, let's go down to about 4.5, 5 foot here. 53.8, so it's gaining temperature as the lower we go, and then go down here in the corner. 54.5. All right, so let's go in the middle of the room on this 2x here. That's where the receiver's sat for months. 54.7. Now, I know the temperature difference that we're going to experience here on this wall because I did it the other day, but it is -3 degrees outside, so it's definitely going to be different. Let's see what this wall being bare. This is the zip board. This is OSB zip board system, the Huber zip board system. This is 1/2 inch. So there's bare, there's some R19 bad insulation, and then I'm gonna do the door, and of course I'll try to check this wood here, this stack, or this stud pack here. Let's get some changes here. Surface depth, there we go. And so this is 38.3 on the inside, 55 degrees. And to the door with the glass, can't even read that. There we go. 40, 40.5, 46. So there's a big insulation difference between the door and the glass. Now let's check out, this is kind of cool. I always like looking at this. The face of this 2x here, 53, midway, 49, and then in the corner, 33. So we're losing that much heat just in a 2x. And so getting this insulated would definitely help a lot. Yeah, 54 degrees. That's crazy difference right there. Of course, a moisture barrier and everything is going to be extremely important because look at this. I've got snow packed on the other side and this is not sealed up yet. And there's a reason why this is not sealed up. And it's kind of upsetting. My windows that I ordered from Pella months ago have not arrived because, well, excuses. Let's come on over here. This is going to be a future, of course you guys know, gun room here. Now this is the work I've been working, this is the stuff I've been working on here. And there's a reason for it. I've been watching this wall. So I came in here the other day and this corner over here was frosted. Not too bad, it's the northeast corner of the house. Not too upset about it, but I was like, well, that's weird. So I didn't have any ductwork in here yet and it was cold in here. I don't know what the temperature reads upstairs. Let's just see what this is reading here. 62 degrees, so it's getting a little bit warmer. It was 55 degrees in here. Just pull a temp in the middle of the room on the surface. All right, that's the surface. Room temp, 65 degrees. So I got this is the 1-inch foam, not very thick. 1-inch foam glued up there with Loctite adhesive. I needed some R value in here. I needed a moisture barrier. And you can see when you look, everywhere where the insulation is not touching the concrete, which that is, you know, above grade right there. There's those washers right there. That is creating it's condensating and freezing because it is very chilly in here, and the concrete is of course exposed on the outside. So the sill is actually warmer. This is actually warmer up here. This concrete is actually warm right here compared to this, but this is all exposed concrete. This is all insulated, and that is a huge change, which is causing the frosting to happen. Now, this is an issue that I wanted to get addressed early because, well, I don't want this to condensate, freeze, and then thaw and drip down my wall. And this 1-inch foam board is not my #1 option for insulating this room because it's an exterior, not really exterior, but an outside basement wall. I wanted to make sure it was, you know, well off with the temperature changes. But you can see here, you see that line right there? That is moisture off this board that is pulling from that wall. That's insulated on the other side here, but that is actually pulling moisture and cool air into that. I don't want to have to deal with this later on and have water issues. So my big thought originally with this room, I really wanted to get closed cell spray foam in here. And basically what I would do is do a 2x4 wall on its edge, keep it off the wall a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and then have a company come in and spray all that. And that would give me the appropriate barrier, as this is acting as a moisture barrier against the concrete, and then my 2x4 wall would stick off the foam and off the wall 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and that would prevent all of that from happening. Unfortunately, I don't have that ability to pay that kind of money for spray foam installation because I'm not going to be doing this entire basement all at one time. So this is what I've done in the future gun room to insulate these walls. And then I will still be taking and setting out this wall, 2x4s on their edge. I will, of course, this will be foam board all the way up and then insulated more in there. Take and get some bad insulation, fill those 2x4 spaces, and then of course a plastic vapor barrier, and then drywall on this wall, because it does not need to be a wood wall like this is. Interesting to see this. And here's one more thing I was gonna do before I closed out. This is an inside-outside corner. So this is the edge of the concrete, of course, my walkout right here, and this is the wall that makes that room. And this is what I was trying to check out earlier to see if I was getting frosting over here. This wall is outside, but it's actually like a huge, like 16-inch slab right here, because it comes over here 8 inches and then goes 8 inches there, just really thick and hefty right here in this corner. Of course, I am getting a little bit of moisture condensating right here. I got to seal this up with spray foam, and of course on the outside I got to fix that. I'm experiencing quite a bit of condensation right here on this outside edge. Not too happy about that, but we'll have to deal with it. But let's see what we're dealing with from the temperature. Zooming back here. I want surface temp. So this concrete right now is 32 degrees. So it's gonna start frosting as soon as any condensation hits it. It's pretty cold, especially down here midway. It's still 36 degrees. 44 degrees, a little bit of insulation further out, 56 degrees. And we'll go up to a 4 foot out, 55.8. So we're experiencing a wide range of temperatures just in this one corner right here. So, like I said, that says 37 degrees, 52, 54, and then bare wood out here, 56, because that wall's actually warming up because that heater's in there. Strange to see how the weather is happening. I just don't want to be able to, I don't want to start finishing this basement out without doing this stuff appropriately in the beginning. So I was sitting there thinking, after I did that last section over here in the corner, that none of this condensation, the frosting and stuff started happening until, well, I started sheathing this wall. Now it could be a combination of things. This is on the northeast corner of the house. It didn't get a whole lot of sun right now here in the wintertime. I sheathed this wall so there could be airflow that's not moving to move that moisture around. It's not being recirculated here into the system. Of course, this wall is a giant cold factory and just, you know, letting hot air out and cold air in. But I did notice that I'm not experiencing the frosting down here on the cold and the frost on the walls in the northwest corner of the basement. Let's go over here real fast and shoot some temps up here on these washers. I can't reach there. Almost had it. We're looking at 45.1 degrees that grade. Now, the difference is this grade over here is a little bit higher because it's we're going to be putting concrete right there, so they've did a little bit more work there. Over in that corner is a little bit lower because that's where the deck is going to go. It's not going to be exposed. But strange enough, my dryer vent, as you tell, rig that thing is, comes down out of the wall and curls back around. That's frosted over. Haven't ran the dryer today, and I probably shouldn't because it's gonna thaw out as soon as I start doing that and go down here in the basement. Good catching that now, because that's a problem for the future. So it's interesting to see it happening. I'm glad I'm doing it now. I'm glad I'm experiencing this cold weather that is not normal, because I don't want to start having water issues on a finished basement, because you start getting, you know, condensation and then thawing and drywall, and you know how the story goes. Then you have to come back and repair it, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So although my basement is sealed completely, my basement is completely sealed on the outside, the condensation could become an issue later on. So that's it for today. You know, -degree temperatures outside. We got 2 inches of snow last night that wasn't forecasted. It was just that cold. It was snowing. Look at that. Beautiful cold Kansas weather. You guys keep calm and carry on. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.